Oh, what is going on, Vikings fans? It is Skol side back again with another Minnesota Vikings video. First off, just want to say thank you for the support on the video yesterday. The Jefferson and the James Robinson video film breakdowns, they did pretty good. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. Anyways, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. We do daily Minnesota Vikings takes. Anyways, this video, as you see by the title, full game preview, Jacksonville Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings, X Factors, predictions, all going to be discussed in this video. Injuries, everything, what I think the score is going to be, how I think it's going to play out. Anyways, Vikings Jags tomorrow at noon. Should be an easy dub for the Vikes, but you know, this year nothing's easy for them. Anyways, let's talk about a Jags Vikings full game preview coming at you right now. Okay, so starting off with this matchup, it is Mike Glennon versus Kirk Cousins. You know, obviously, I'm going to go through position groups. I'm going to say who has the advantage. Obviously, offensively, quarterback advantage goes to Kirk. Kirk's been balling out in the month of November. And now let's see if we can get Kirk December. How should we call that? Kirk's month. Because we had Kirktober, then we had Kirkvember. Let's see what we're going to get this month. But I think quarterback edge goes to the Vikes. Obviously, wide receivers, running backs, I think they also go to the Vikings. Offensive line honestly goes to the Vikings too. The Jags offense doesn't really do much. However, there is one person that is kind of intimidating, and that's James Robinson. You know, if there's any chance the Jags have at winning this game, it would be him just dominating time of possession. And that's the only concern I have going into this game, where the Vikings could get upset or it could be close late. And then, you know, we see in the past few games, anything can happen. Oh, this undrafted rookie that the Jags have in James Robinson, he is an absolute stud. You know, he's from Rockford, Illinois. He's 22 years old, went to Illinois State. He's about to eclipse 1,000 yards on the season. I think he's 156 yards away from breaking the record for most yards from scrimmage by a rookie in their undrafted rookie season. So that's pretty cool for him. Dalvin Cook, obviously, there's some speculation if he's banged up or if he's not, because Zimmer said he's fine, but Kubiak said he's a little banged up. So I honestly believe going to this game with the running back position for the Vikings, I think it's going to be a damn near 60-40, 70-30 split with Cook and Madison. I don't expect Cook to be getting the bulk of the carries like he has in the past weeks, because considering I know the NFL, I know every coach says, like, hey, we only look at the team we're playing that Sunday, we don't look ahead. That's a lie. I expect them to be looking towards Tampa Bay in a really big game, and I think they want to have Cook 110%, and if he would get dinged up against Jacksonville, they would definitely regret that. I think it's going to be more of a split. I don't expect them to just bench him, but if the Vikings get out to an early lead, expect a lot of Alexander Madison in the second half. All right, now let's just go through the injury report for both sides. Starting off with our boys, the Vikings. Obviously, we know all the guys that are normally out for the Vikes, such as Daniil, Anthony Barr. However, Mike Hughes still on IR, Mark Fields still on IR. DJ Wanham is out for the first time this year, which sucks. I mean, he doesn't get the most reps out of the defensive line, but it still sucks to have him out. Irv Smith out with a back injury again, which just sucks to hear because he was fighting the groin. Now this back flared up. We're going to need Irv against Tampa Bay, so I'm fine. Maybe if this is a precautionary thing, just be like, hey, take another week. You got to come back next week against Tampa Bay strong. I don't really expect those injuries to play a huge outcome in the game, considering we didn't have Irv last week against the Carolina Panthers. You know, we had 3 of our main guys out last week on offense, and Thielen, Irv, and Ezra Cleveland. We're getting Ezra and Adam Thielen back. Irv's still out. Hopefully our offense will be full, ready to go next week against Tampa Bay. On the Jackson side of the ball, though, you know, they are riddled with injuries on the Jacksonville side of the football. Their first-round pick, C.J. Anderson, is still on IR. I believe their wide receiver, Chris Cooley, is questionable for the game. But that's about it. They got a lot of guys on IR, and a lot of guys have been out for a while. Yeah, Chris Conley, not Chris Cooley. He was on the Vikings. Anyways, he is out. Their secondary is pretty depleted. So that's why I think the Vikings, I think if they want to have offensive success, it's going to come naturally for them. And I don't want them to get cute or try to force stuff. You do what you do. You run the ball and you establish it early and often. Now, Vikings offense versus Jags defense. I was already getting into it, but what I think the Vikings should do is they need to establish the run. You know, I have a love with Jefferson right now. I have a love with Thielen. I have a love with Kirk. It's fun to pass the ball. You know, it is. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see your team have an explosive passing offense. However, it's later on in the year. Jacksonville, they've lost 10 in a row. They're coming all the way from Jacksonville all the way up to Minnesota. they're going to be a little tired. If you can just put in Cook and then put in Madison, CJ Ham, just kind of suck the life out of their defense and just really make them think about hitting Cook and hitting Madison. And that's also why I think Madison will be getting more carries. He's a physical dude. It's later on in the year. This is when you see bigger boys, the running games. This is when you see that become more prevalent in the NFL. I think Madison's going to have around 10 to 12 carries. I would put Cook around 18 to 22. And I think Jefferson and Thielen and Rudolph and BB, I don't think they'll have an explosive passing game. I don't think Cousins will throw for 400. I think it will just be very similar to the past few games. Cousins will probably have 275 to 300 yards and about 2 to 3 touchdowns. And, we'll see where he distributes those touchdowns, either Thielen or Jefferson. I still expect Jefferson to have a big game. I think the Vikings are really trying to get him almost ready to go for the playoffs. He's already ready to go, but I think they're trying to establish him as a legit number one. And I think they realize how talented he is, and I bet you they understand how great Thielen is. But like in between the 20s, I think they're really going to try to get Jefferson to be that guy. Anyways, on offense, my predictions stat-wise, I expect Cook to have anywhere from 80 to 100 yards rushing. Madison around 50 to 60. I don't think it's going to be a huge split or like a huge gap like we've seen in past weeks where Cook's getting 30 and Madison's getting 2 carries. I think it's going to be more of a 60-40. Anyways, Cousins, like I just said, 275 yards to 300 yards passing, 2 to 3 touchdowns. Expect the Vikings offense to put up 31 to 35 points, depending if we get touchdowns or field goals when we are driving. I don't expect anything. I don't expect the Jacksonville defense to really throw us anything that we aren't really prepared for. However, anything can happen. It's a week-to-week league in the NFL, as we all know. Expect the offense to get it going. On the defensive side of the ball, I gotta start with Jefferson. I expect Jefferson to have 101, and then Thielen about to have like 50 and maybe 2 or 1, depending on how many touchdowns he gets. Anyways, defensive side of the ball. Secondary, bold prediction. They get their first interception of the year from the corners, not secondary, corners. Expect they finally get their first interception of the year. If you guys have been around the channel, I've been calling out Jeff Gladney for his first ever interception for a while. I don't know if that's going to happen. I call it every week. If he does this week, good for you, Gladney. I expect Eric Kendricks to kind of be the star highlight player of the game, considering Jacksonville loves to run the ball. I think I could easily see Eric Kendricks have around 12 to 15 tackles, maybe a fumble, or maybe something fluky where he kind of asserts himself. Maybe he'll put himself into the all-pro conversation, which I already think he should be leading. It should be him and Demario Davis, honestly the same as it was last year. I think Eric Kendricks has another prominent game. I could see a Harrison Smith getting an interception today. Maybe we'll see Anthony Harris get his first turnover of the year, which would be great to see. Anyways, I don't really expect the Vikings defense to pose that much of a the Jacksonville offense to pose that much of a threat. However, they can run the ball, which is scary, but I still expect this game. I expect them to give up 14 to 21 points, and honestly, I expect this game, the final score, my prediction, we'll call it in right now. I'm going to go 34 to 16 Vikings. I have them covering the 10-point spread that Vegas put out. I think the Vikings I think this is going to be a stats game. I think these teams, I think this is our first really free game of the year. Besides this, we haven't really had an easy win. Like even Dallas, they have talent. They're not just some walk in the park. Jacksonville's a walk in the park as long as you shut down the run. And as long as you clean up special teams and all that. That's got to be huge. We can't have a special teams mishap against Jacksonville, and we can't leave the door open. We can't have them any confidence. I want them to come out, just blow their doors open right away. Shut down the run, get the pass game, running game open. I want this to be like 21 to 6 at half. Just have it be because my heart needs it. The past 3 Vikings games have been really up and down, come down to the last play. So please, can we get an easy win today or tomorrow, Minnesota? Handle business against Jacksonville, and then we'll move from there. Anyways, guys, those are my predictions. 34 to 16, Minnesota Vikings. Some X factors to look out for. Obviously, James Robinson running the ball. Look out for Cook's carries. I expect them to be reduced this week, just considering they're probably looking ahead to Tampa Bay. Anyways, I expect the secondary to get the first interception. We need to get some pressure. I would like to see some pressure on the quarterback. However, the D-line hasn't really shown me they can consistently yet. Expect Zimmer to blitz Glennon early and often. Anyways, guys, that's a video. This has been Skol Side's full game preview. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Love the support on the channel. Leave a like on the video. Comment down below. I respond to all comments. I'd love to get your guys' takes on this game. What do you guys think? Give me your score predictions down below. There's going to be a live pregame show tomorrow before the game, around 30 to 45 minutes before kickoff. Come ask questions. It's going to be me talking to you guys. You guys know how those normally go. Anyways, Subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, comment down below. See you guys next time. Peace. Skol Vikes.